Hello everyone, welcome back to another Ember Sickles video. Today I will be reviewing the Minecraft Dungeons DLC called Jungle Awakens. Before we get into this, I just want you to know that a lot of these are my personal opinions, and I will state that, but let me know in the comments if you disagree, if you played it, what your thoughts are about this. Anyway, getting right into it, in Jungle Awakens there are fewer levels, of course, than in the main game. There are 3 levels, 2 of which you unlock just by the normal progression, one of which is a secret level that does let you know it is there. So because of this, a lot of the levels are significantly longer than some of the other levels in the base game would be. One specific example of this is in Dingy Jungle, which I found to be incredibly long. Which personally I don't like, but I don't know if you guys like that. It just depends on your thoughts. I'm just letting you know what it is here. In terms of new items or enemies, there is some new gear. You have the whip, some ocelot armor, I believe, and corrupted seeds. I believe there's a few more, but those are the ones I specifically remember at the moment. And of course there are unique variants of those, so it does add a few new items to the game. But you can transfer your normal items, of course, into the DLC. So, few new items, not too many. In terms of new enemies, we have a few of them, actually. There are new variants of the zombies and skeletons that do some poison damage, I believe. There's also the Leaper, I believe, which is kind of this gorilla-like plant that will jump on you somewhat like a gorilla, I suppose, doing tons of damage. You have some other ones as well that I'm not 100% sure of. There are a lot of plants that come up. You have some vines that will block your path on occasion. And then other plants as well. There is a standing plant that conjures vines, and there are also some plants that pop out of the ground and shoot at you too. So a few new enemies too. Most of them are going to be variants of old ones or the originals. There's a lot of creepers too, but there's some good enemy variety. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Setting. So each level has a fairly different setting. It's of course set on a jungle island. So it's going to be very different from the other levels. I appreciate the new setting. It's definitely a change of pace from the original. The story is that a shard from the obedience crystal, I believe, has landed in the middle of the jungle and corrupted the jungle itself. So that's why you're fighting all the plants, and you're going through this island. So, pretty good story. I like how it's building off of the original story. That's nice. So the story's good. Of course, it's never the main focus of Minecraft Dungeons, but I'm glad that they put a little effort into that. Now, looking at the level specifically, I'm not a huge fan of Dingy Jungle. I just believe it was too long. It feels kind of tedious to do. It takes a really long time to play through. As well as the specific setting in Dingy Jungle. Of course, it's meant to be the full-on jungle, so everything is green, which I appreciate. The only problem with that is that in many ambushes or other areas, there's a lot of creatures or enemies that are green, so like especially creepers, but there's also zombies and vines and stuff like that. And so they sneak up on you, and I have a hard time spotting them. Again, I don't know if this is just me, but I have a hard time actually seeing the enemies, which caused me to be caught by creepers many times playing this level. So not a huge fan of Dingy Jungle just because of those aspects, but it does have some cool new areas. Especially the creeper area. That was really nice. There's a creeper kind of column that spawns a creeper ambush, which was neat. There are a little bit of new aspects there. Now, moving on to the next one. Forgotten Temple is the last level in the story progression, technically, that you can just unlock playing through the levels. This one I found to be a better length, personally. I liked it. I thought it was just a good amount of time. There were some cool areas in it. I actually got stuck in a secret level thinking I needed to find something in it, but then that's of course completely my fault. I don't blame it for that. Some good new mechanics. Again, all these levels have good enemy variety because of that, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. In Forgotten Temple, there is actually a boss that they've been kind of advertising on the thumbnail, I guess you could say, of the DLC, just the main picture, which is kind of this Groot-like creature. If you know Groot, I usually just call it Giant Groot, that has a hammer for a hand. He's just a sort of a giant tree. Now, doing the boss fight with him, he's incredibly easy. I, of course, wasn't playing this at the highest difficulty, but I just found his attacks to be very low and very not varied very much. I don't know, I just found him to be really easy, not super creative in terms of his actual attacks. He spawns a few of the new enemies around this kind of area, which I can, you can defeat pretty easily. But the problem is, his only attack, really, other than doing that, is slamming his hammer down on the ground, which is sort of like the redstone golems from the original game. But he doesn't spawn in the little mines that you can run across when you're trying to run away from the golem. So it just seems like he's super easy to defeat. I had no trouble with it at all. Little disappointed in how kind of he didn't have any new moves for the most part. Anyways, moving on from that, Panda Plateau is the secret level you can find in Dingy Jungle. So you can see that there is a secret level there, so it lets you know that that's a secret mission, but it still makes you go through the level to find it, which I like. It's sometimes a bit hard to find it just because there are other areas, but I think it shouldn't be too hard overall if you're searching for it to find it. And I thought Panda Plateau was super fun. I thought it was a good length. I liked the concept in that the pandas had been kind of captured and you want to bring them back for a panda party at the end. It's just wonderful. And I just had fun with the level. And I also appreciated that the setting was slightly different, because now we were kind of in a bamboo jungle, as opposed to just being in a jungle. So I thought that was really cool, had a ton of fun doing it. Might even be my favorite secret level from the entire game. Anyways, now just talking about the price point. I found a lot of conflicting information on the internet, but I think, from what I can tell, is that you can buy the Hero Pass for $10, and that gives you both Creeping Winter and when it comes out, and Jungle Awakens. I personally bought the Hero Edition when it first came out, which included, I suppose, the Hero Pass, along with the base game. So that makes sense because I bought it for $30 and the base game is $20. So that would mean that essentially Jungle Awakens is going to be a $5 price point, which I think is a really good deal, honestly. In terms of content, you have 3 levels, whereas the original game had 9 levels and cost $20. So this costs less than a third of the price of the original game, meaning that factually, it is actually a good value in terms of what you're playing, if you, of course, count the secret mission. That actually brings up a good point. It depends what you're considering here, actually, because there are a lot of secret levels you can find in the base game. So this is a little... it's a little less than that because it's only 3 levels, and the game actually has up to 14 levels if you can find them all. So it just depends how much value you got out of the original game and how much you're going to get out of this. So it depends how many levels you played through in the original. So this is maybe worth a little less. It could have had a bit better value, but a lot of DLC does tend to be overpriced, and I don't think this is a terrible occasion. I think it's fairly well priced, if you want to buy the other one. So pretty good price. It's okay. In terms of what you are getting, just overall, I would say that it's, for the most part, just more of the same. So they did try and introduce a new mechanic or two, but it ends up just feeling like what you were doing before. If you enjoyed the basic gameplay of Minecraft Dungeons and you just enjoyed playing through it, you aren't expecting anything new, go ahead. I'm sure you'll enjoy this. It's okay. It's pretty good value. So I think I would recommend buying it, yes. But if you wanted something a little more like I did, and you wanted them to change it up a little, add something new, just make it feel a bit different, I don't really think they've done that here. It does just feel like more of the same. So if you're looking for something that develops it more, makes it more complex, something like that, you're not really going to find that here. But if you just want more levels, more fun, just killing some baddies, then definitely I would recommend this game. Anyways, that's going to be it for the review today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you agreed with my opinion. And have a great day.